Hey everyone, just going to record a short video here for you. I'm going to shut my camera off though. I'm in an airport, so I'm at Midway Airport in Chicago, so I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. It's great to be able to get out and be part of the healthcare industry, but it's really difficult to get work done in an appropriate manner when that's happening. So I had the opportunity to speak at a billing and compliance, National Billing and Compliance Conference yesterday. I did a all-day session for evaluation and management coding. So it's fun to do it, and I love doing that. But it's hard to make all these little details work when it's on a day when I need to be working. So last week we talked a little bit about analytics, in specifically with relation to precision medicine, systems medicine. Had a discussion about some of the predictive analytics that we're seeing in healthcare right now, and I look forward to seeing your reflections about kind of the fears and your thoughts on this type of medicine. What's really interesting, and I apologize, every time I go to record these, it starts to get really loud. Um, the What's really interesting about this is it really will allow us to tailor the care that we provide to patients. So not just some people hear precision medicine and they think medicine, like pharmaceuticals. That's certainly not the only aspect of it. It's all about treating patients where they are. So what are their needs, both from a socioeconomic standpoint, or the whole social determinants of healthcare standpoint, but also from a genetic standpoint. So, treating patients that have genetic predisposition for certain things, and the one thing that always comes to mind is like the 23andMe. I've not done it, but my husband did. Got pages and pages about how he's predisposed to cancers. He's predisposed to all these different things. Predisposed to be overweight, all these things. But if you have a physician that analyzes that data for you, they're able to provide you with a plan of care that will put you in a good position to mitigate that risk. So that's really what all of this is about overall. And it also helps to, like for example, I carry a gene that makes me less susceptible, and I know this just from past genetic stuff I've had done, but makes me less, not susceptible, but I have difficulty with anesthesia, and that's a hereditary trait. I got it from my father. So if I go to have filling done in my tooth, they have to use extra Novocaine. They have to put epinephrine in it. If I go to have a surgical procedure where they need to do general anesthesia, they have to give me much more than I would need for my weight, etc. But it's a genetic predisposition, and if we can understand those things before we put patients, like just the anesthesia one, for an example, um, you know, we might be able to deal with issues related to anesthesia in advance. So it really makes things interesting there. So this week we're going to talk about law and ethics as related to data analytics. I really like data, but I really like law and ethics more. And I think most of you took my law and ethics class already. But this is really to look at the legal and ethical implications of analytics. There are clearly a lot of legal implications related to the use. Thank you. Sorry, I just got my bill. There are a lot of legal implications related to analytics overall, the use of data, how do we protect the data, all of those kinds of things. But then there are ethical issues as well. When we started testing people for the breast cancer gene, and then people were demanding to have mastectomies secondary to that testing, even though they didn't have cancer, but just because they had the gene that they could potentially have cancer, it really brought up a lot of ethical issues. And that's only one tiny bit of the iceberg of ethics related to genetics overall. So a lot of thoughts, if you have taken the law and ethics class, think back to some of the things we talked about and then apply it to data analytics. And okay, what about data? What are the ethical implications, legal implications of predictive analytics? You also have your final group project, which is due on Sunday. I know there was one place in the classroom, or it may even just be in the syllabus, talking about doing a presentation this week. I've asked that. I apologize for not having a synchronous session in this class, but I didn't want to do the synchronous session in week 7 for this. And I certainly didn't want to do it in week 8 when maybe you're taking finals and whatnot in other classes. So I've axed it. I apologize. I assure you that it'll be back for other HSAM classes, at least one in mine, and then probably multiple ones in Dr. Hampe, Dr. Frendek's classes. So I do apologize for that. But if you have any questions, you really want to take that template. And I think I talked about this last week. It doesn't need to be in the format of the template. You want to write it just as a regular paper as you normally would, but you want to make sure that you're including those types of areas. Your strategy that you're looking at may not require all of them, but be sure, take a solid look at each one of them and think, do I really need to include this section? If so, then give us some data on that. You may have to make up data, like when we're talking about finances, you may have to make up some numbers. But if you do, then maybe do a little research on it, see what it normally costs to implement that type of system, or if you're looking to implement a software strategy, maybe snoop around, see if you can find some costs for that, and then apply that in that finance section. So that's all I have. Again, I wholeheartedly apologize for doing this from the airport. Sometimes we have to do what we have to do. So hopefully you can hear me okay, and let me know if you have any questions for the final or any of the info this week, and I look forward to seeing you in the classroom. Thanks.